Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Tactical Baby Gear Podcast. I am your host, Beav Brody, and in this episode, Alex and I talk about how I'm getting fat. I started going to the gym again. I'm trying to bring sexy back, so we talk a lot about that, some fitness stuff, some nutrition, how I don't eat rabbit food. Alex has given me a challenge that might follow through with. We also talk about something we're bringing back and some new products coming down the pipeline. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What do you call a careful wolf? A werewolf. That was pretty bad. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Trying to recover from that joke.
I'm trying to recover from working out.
You do that?
I started again. Finally. See, here's the funny thing. I used to work out, and then I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't. And then I think maybe I did, maybe one more time, and then I broke my leg, and here I am, going again. But see, it's like I could have been working out months ago, because I've been pretty recovered from my leg for a while.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mentally prepared for it. Just too many things going on. Too much of this, distraction, that, gymnastics, the kids, like it was just always something. I knew I couldn't like really commit to it. So like mentally I wasn't able to prepare myself to really like commit to it. Cause you know how I am, like I like to do things really well. Mm-hmm. I don't usually go half-ass into it. I like to go like full 100% in. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that because I wasn't like there mentally. So I just didn't. And now I've like over the last few weeks, like mentally been preparing myself and trying to figure out schedules and when and how and where and all these and who I'm going to try to work out with to keep me accountable and like all these different variables that like I kind of have it all mapped out. So I'm like, all right, I'm committed. I'm doing it. I'm going all in and I'm going to make a solid go at it again. Back to.
Well, you didn't have to. Got to go to the gym and do all that stuff with what you're used to do, right?
Well, I didn't. You're right. I didn't have to because I used to work in the shop all the time. And I was like picking up heavy crap all day, every day. Like when that was
100
like
degrees outside. And
yeah, picking up transmissions and moving wheels around and putting tires on and picking up heavy stuff and, you know, all that kind of stuff and you know, like wrenching on things and just being super active in the shop. So to that point, you're right. It was like I was working out all day, you know, and I used to, all my friends that were like doing CrossFit, and I'm like not into CrossFit really, but I just picked on like I don't need to go to CrossFit. I got Shop Fit, you know. So
right,
it was like Shop Fit for forever, and then kids, and Dad Bod. It wasn't really so much kids. It was more getting out of that industry and getting into this, where I started sitting at a desk more,
right,
and not being as active. And then I worked out for a while. I did some CrossFit for a while. This wasn't for me. It's too intense, like too try to kill yourself in a short period of time.
So I did CrossFit for
yeah, you did it for a while,
3-4 years, which was kind of the bump I needed back then. Like my wife's always just been super motivated, like she can just get up and work out if she had to.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that way. I mean, I did all the sports and stuff in high school and all that, but afterwards, once college hit, like, hey, you weren't finding me at the gym, right?
Right.
And I wasn't going to go run a few miles by myself. But so I got into CrossFit with some friends, and that, like, the camaraderie and everything else kind of helped. But then I started to realize that, like, the coaches and stuff that were more worried about trying to, you got to get in 15 more pull-ups, even though you're kind of doing this, like, wavy thing of a pull-up, you know? And it just dropped to the ground. Like, it was like, wait, like, I'm going through motions. I'm exercising for sure. You can get strong, but like all these other people around me are just kind of doing some stupid stuff. Like that 50-year-old does not need to be trying to like cling 250 pounds if this is the first time they've ever held a barbell. Like,
right.
And like they'd have, you know, like people like
there's
my mom in there trying to like lift weights that. So
and I know a lot of people who do CrossFit, and I know a lot of coaches, and like I'm not knocking them because you know, but like there's just a lot of ego wrapped up in CrossFit, I feel like.
I think there's ego wrapped up in everything. I think it just comes down to the again, I think as it relates to CrossFit, I think it has to do with the coaching. And if you see someone like my mom walking in there who plays, you know, exercise and does everything daily, but like she's never she's never put weight over her head in a barbell. And then you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, do some overhead squats. You're like, you don't need to be doing Olympic lifting if you've never been exposed to it. And I feel like too many people get hurt, and that's a problem on that.
Right.
But for me, it was a good catalyst to get back into exercising.
Yeah.
Then I had kids, and then
you got out of it.
Being self-employed, I got out of it. And I think for me, it was, what are we working on, like maybe 8 months ago? I think it was for my birthday last year, which is in August. So almost a year. Finally, it was just like, all right, you got to go. And I'm not a morning person, so I started waking up at 5:30, exercise at my house, kind of chipped away, collecting random stuff to do that, and just now it was just one of those. I've got no other time to do it, so I just had to just make it work,
happen.
Which is just
and that's the thing. It's
miserable.
like, but you have to be kind of like mentally prepared for that. To like, all right, I'm going to commit to getting up at 5 a.m. when I could get up at like 6:30. And all those sorts of kind of aspects of it.
Well,
I'm not a
especially when
morning
you get
person
the-
either. I'm a night person. Like, I usually don't go to bed till midnight, 1 a.m. I'm like doing stuff for, replying to messages on Instagram or comments or whatever the case is. And I'm more productive at night. The kids, everyone goes to bed, and it's like get it so much done. I've always been that way in the car business and all this kind of like. I'd go eat dinner. I'd clock the door at the shop, and I would just go into the shop and like get a bunch of stuff done till 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And then I'd finally go home, and then I'd open it back up at 8 a.m. and deal with answering phone calls and customers and making appointments and people picking up cars. And it was like, when am I ever going to get anything done?
Right.
And it was always at night. And it's still that way. I just prefer to work. I'm so much more productive at night. So now, like, and I just don't like getting up that early. I'm just not going. I don't have to get up that early. I don't want to get up that early. I'm not going to make myself do it.
Well, is that because
I've done it
kids have
before.
hit maybe like a different age too, where like it allows you a little more flexibility to work at a different time, or
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's probably better for them if I worked out in the morning, because I wouldn't be missing any part of their life. Because like so right now, my plan is to work out when I leave here 5-ish, be home by 6-ish, eat dinner, and like, so it's like, I lose maybe 30 minutes of time at home with them, but I'm willing to sacrifice that 30 minutes for the exercise that I need
to make sure you're
and keep myself sane to where I'm like, I'm not having to get up at 5 a.m. to do it, and there might be mornings where I just get up and I go to the gym at 7 and then come here at 8 or whatever. So I don't know. The good news is the gym is like 13 steps from here.
no excuse.
So there's no excuse there. I've got to, continue to be mentally in the right mindset of like making the time to do it, putting it on my calendar, making sure like I've got, John over there, John Duberly, who's awesome. He wins every single 9-line 5K. He's like the fittest guy I know next to Doug Stewart, but he's Doug's trainer. So, he's got a lot of credibility, and he's a really smart guy, and he's not out there trying to like conquer the world and make you lift the heaviest thing. He's just like, here's what you should be doing for you. Let's take baby steps. You don't need to make life-changing things tomorrow, and I'm not going to change your whole life, but like in time, let's work towards this.
Right.
Here's your goal. We're not going to get there tomorrow. It's baby steps. We'll get there eventually. Let's crawl before we walk here.
I think that's just a lot of things, even with me just getting up, just have to kind of keep doing it and just realize that, especially taking kind of the angle of the parent, right? It's like I've found the more I've exercised, like the easier it is for me to play with the kids, or even like, I've got 3 and they're all still in car seats. So like I like they're just now getting that stage where like they climb up and the twins
climb up into
kind
the
of get
car.
into their seat now without me having to like constantly lift them. But in that middle row of like a Suburban, it's like I got
You got dad
35
arms.
pounds like
Don't
going.
they call it mom arm? Isn't that a phrase, a mom arm, like when they're carrying the kids around all day and they like
I don't know
develop mom arm?
Yeah, because like something like I don't know.
Em had both mom arms, the twins.
I don't mess with her. Yeah,
I wouldn't mess with her either.
But even that too is like if my kids go, they still have their like mood swings almost, so they wake up from nap and it's like I don't know, they woke up, they had a great nap, and all of a sudden everyone's crying. So of course, like if I'm home, they'll come and, hey, can you pick us up and do this? And like I'll cater it to some. Other times it kind of just cry, sorry. But if I'm going to pick them up, having exercise, like it's just easier to kind of hold them and especially when there's two. Now the third one wants to get in the middle, so it's like I got all three. I'm like, all right, I'm not going upstairs. I'm not going downstairs.
Right.
We're gonna just stand here in the living room apparently and just hold all three. But if you didn't exercise, if you didn't take care of yourself, how are you gonna be?
That was the
be able
other
to be
thing
involved?
too that kept me from like feeling like I needed to work out was like I've never felt incapable of doing something because like I felt out of shape or I felt too fat or I felt like have I gained weight in the past year? Absolutely I have. Am I out of shape more than I was before? Of course I am. Do I feel like it's affected me? No. Like I feel great. I don't care about any of that stuff. For a long time, the previous times that I've worked out has always been for someone else. It's because everyone else wanted me to work out. I wasn't doing it for me. So of course I wasn't as committed as I should have been because I didn't care.
Right.
I was doing it because Craig wanted me to, or Pete wanted me to, or Brandy said I should, or this or that. And like for the first time now, I'm feeling like I'm finally doing it for me. So it's really interesting because I've never, like you said, like if you get to a point where you can't play with your kids or you can't play, like I've never felt that. I've never, aside from like having a broken leg, but that had nothing to do with, but it was
That's
like,
because you're trying to be a kid.
I was trying to be a kid.
Didn't realize it's like your joints start to harden up as you get older, and I mean that by like everything's like bendable as a kid, not so bendable when you
brittle.
get older.
I rode my skateboard to the gym, by the way. I didn't want to walk those 13 steps.
Man, I didn't want to get any sort of pre-workout, man.
Oh, man.
I wanted it all documented.
Pre-workout. So that's another thing. Do you take any kind of pre-workouts or supplements or any kind of stuff?
No, so I drink black coffee. I wake up, I make black coffee. I like prep everything the night before just because.
Because you're up at 5 a.m.
So it's like I'll get up, I'll pour hot water over it, make my 1 cup of black coffee, probably about 15 minutes before I'll get in the gym or the garage. I'll start like warming up for a little bit and then do whatever is on.
Do whatever you got to do.
Do whatever's on the list for the day.
Workout of the day.
Exactly. Pull-ups to benching to kettlebells and
so
dumbbells.
John was giving me I sat down with him, we did a solid like consultate. So I'll tell you about my experience. This was crazy. So I go and this is the first time I'd really talked with John about myself personally in a fitness sense. I've talked to John 1,000 times about all kinds of stuff, cars and he's always the 9-line Vince and just business and just whatever. And I've been around him with Doug and things like that. We have one real big thing in common, and that's eating Moe's. Anyways.
So is that the trick?
That's what?
To stay fit?
No. Well, so anyways, I a big part of fitness, my whole new journey coming up is nutrition. I say we all. The listeners now will know that I eat like a 5-year-old.
Very beige.
It's very like straight up off the kids menu, like chicken, French fries,
chicken fingers,
French fries.
We wouldn't want a
mac
grilled
and
chicken.
cheese, mashed potatoes,
quesadilla
steak,
with
quesadilla, pizza.
Yeah.
Like I'm the worst eater on the planet. So I told John, and I was like, listen, the biggest thing isn't really going to get me to work out. That I'll work out.
Yeah.
My nutrition, like I know that. I'm a picky
When's the last time
eater.
you've had a salad?
Like, no, couldn't tell you.
When's the last time you had a fruit?
The other day.
So what fruit do you eat?
I was eating some grapes.
So the sugary little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, and he's like, all right. He's like,
that's like pure sugar water in that grape.
That's probably why it's so good.
Well, all right. What about a vegetable?
The only green thing I'm eating is...
No. I mean, a vegetable can be...
Well, potato. Like French fries. I had those at lunch. Mashed potatoes. I had those for dinner the other night. No. So I don't eat veggies. And that's the thing. And he's like, all right. He's like, well, listen, Doug doesn't eat veggies either, but I make him drink it. Like we give him like this, it's like a powder form that he adds to a protein shake or something. And he's getting his vegetables via that. There's there's a billion different products on the market that can get around some vitamins and whatever else. Like maybe it's
a
not
healthier option.
Maybe it's not a perfect supplement for that, but like I just know myself. I'm self-aware to know I'm not going to eat a salad. It's not going to happen.
You know what I had for lunch?
Yeah, rabbit food. I know, and it's really funny because I know the right things that are supposed to be done. I'm just not there.
Did you ever eat vegetables?
No,
Like,
hell no.
so
My parents tried to force me to eat vegetables all the time. It's just
So have you had to like fight with your kids to eat? Do you
No,
not
they
fight?
love
They just love
veggies.
it, and it just doesn't matter.
they're like if they go anywhere, it's like they want like Giuseppe's, for example. They'll order like pizza and broccoli, or like they'll order the kids mac and cheese and broccoli, or you got a Chick-fil-A. Like they don't want the French fries, they want the fruit cup. You know what I mean? Like they eat way healthier than I do.
Now,
And they're obsessed with like health because Brandy's obsessed with healthy. And so they're like, Dad, that's not healthy. You need to eat healthy. I'm like, damn it, I know. I don't know.
So it wasn't something from like in the home that you guys really like
My dad
paid
eats
special
like crap.
attention to. Well, I meant, what about like your kids? And then we'll talk about how you were raised. You like meaning like if Brandy's the one making food, or what is it like? I'm gonna put out the broccoli option, and if they eat it, great. If they don't, great. Like how did y'all handle that sort of dynamic? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. I don't remember it being like the kids just ate it, and it wasn't like you had to fight with them to eat it. Or, I mean, there's random things that come up that's like, no, you need, like, first of all, you need to eat your dinner, you actually eat it and finish it, not take a bite and tell me you're full because you want dessert or something. Like, it's like, no, you're gonna eat your dinner. But they'll usually eat most things. They, like, and you'll experience this soon if you haven't yet. Like my kids, one day they love pizza, the next day they hate pizza, and it's like
we go in those cycles already.
Yeah, it's
and my
so
kids are just now
frustrating.
learning.
Like, I don't like that.
No,
I'm like, what do you mean you don't like that?
Yeah.
Yesterday that was your favorite food. Today you're telling me you're not going to eat the pizza we ordered because we need to do something last minute, so we ordered a pizza, or we're going out to eat something, and it's like now you're crying because now you don't like pasta today. Like what?
That is the weirdest thing. Yes, but
or if their friends are over, like or a cousin, and then they order it, and then like my kids, I'm like, wait, hold on. Yesterday you hated pizza and you were kicking and screaming because we went out to a pizza place, but since your cousin ordered pizza, now it's your favorite food. Anyways, that's kid problems.
So fortunately, we have, I don't know, I'd say 6 days a week is probably a home cooked meal of some sort, and it's no short order cook. It's like, this is what mommy and daddy are having. It's gonna be put on your plate. So if the broccoli, chicken, whatever. Mm-hmm. So it'd be more like if they want more chicken, well, you need to eat what else is on your plate beforehand. And so it's like I've given you a big enough portion of what you might like. Here's the other options, but I'm not going to just like sit there and like beat them over the head with it. It's like you must eat that or you can't. It's like, well, if you don't want to eat that and you're still hungry,
I don't want to.
I have another option for you. It's eat what's on your plate.
Right.
But we've never force fed them. I guess they just watched us. And then it's kind of developed naturally in that regard.
Like, this is what I'm eating.
But so that's why I was really intrigued. Like, if you've never eaten it and your kids really haven't ever seen you eat it, but Brandy does, is that where they've kind of picked up on that? Or?
Yeah, probably. Of course, there's a lot of times where I haven't been home for dinner either. So they eat with her more than I eat with them, or they did before. Not so much now, but a lot of the early days when I was grinding all night or traveling, sure, you and I used to travel so much more. Like last year, we traveled a ton. Yeah. This year, we haven't traveled nearly as much. So, just different things like that.
So growing up for us regarding food and kind of just taking that vein, like it was funny. Like we always, like for Halloween, for example, it was always like you can have one piece of candy that night. And which is weird, interesting, because the wife they were like, well, have whatever you want. And then it ended up just going to waste. And same with us, we'd end up going to waste. There's just two different ways of kind of getting it. Like veg out, and then the next day you don't actually want any.
Right.
Whereas like we just didn't grow up having a lot of the sweets or like even juice. It's like, all right, you can have your one glass. And I think that was more because when I got older, my mom was like, I ain't buying like $50 worth of juice a day. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, drink some water.
Right.
But it was always like the salad and vegetables, and I just never harped on it. It's just like, this is what you eat.
Yeah.
And I guess that carried through. But I just wasn't sure if... So anyways, you're self-aware. You don't eat vegetables or green or rabbit food, as you called it.
Yeah.
So you're in the consultation, and he's telling you to...
Well, yeah, so he's like, well, the good news is, he's like, the meals that you do eat are at least somewhat complete meals. You'll need to kind of fill that in with some other things, and we'll get there. But like, and then just like, now I want you to like, he's like, your coffee and donut in the morning's fine, but let's do a protein bar with that, or something else. And then And then, before lunch, I want you to snack on something else and then eat lunch and then another small snack and then eat your dinner. He's like, I want you to eat more often throughout the day, especially because we're going to start working out more and you're going to need that energy and it's going to help. And And he's like, cut back on some of the sugars, more water, like just the obvious stuff that like I know I'm just like.
Yeah, that's what I just started for. So for Father's Day, the wife got me one of those like gallon jugs, and it's got the
it's so funny.
7 a.m.,
like,
9 a.m., 11 a.m. with like little sayings on it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like it's been crazy. Like I mean, I drink water, but not, I mean, I always get made fun of her. She was always the camel. I was like, good, like you're always just
your
drinking.
wife is so structured, and you're very structured, like. You know what I mean? And maybe it's because of her. I don't know, but I like to think that you're extremely structured, way more than I. And I've become so much more self-aware in the past 6 months, even more so than I was a year ago. But like, my life is just controlled chaos, and I know that. Yeah.
But it works for you.
It does for the most part, but I'm lucky enough to have people like you and Ryan around that are extremely structured that control my chaos more than I control it myself. So I don't know. That's just my personality. It's just how I roll.
But like to the obvious, so it's like I always drank water. She always drank a lot more. But ever since Father's Day, I've been trying to drink like that full gallon throughout the day.
It's harder than you think.
It was very hard. And you're like, I'm like, oh, I gotta pee again. I gotta use the restroom again.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm 90 with prostate problems. I'm like, all right, I see my future. But it's amazing how much better you feel.
Yeah.
Like, I was exercising. I mean, I don't eat out that much at all. And I've noticed just how much like, oh wow, like apparently I was dehydrated without knowing I was dehydrated, or especially where we live, it's 100 degrees outside and humid. Apparently water is magical.
Good idea. Yeah.
Apparently all that literature that everyone says to drink more water might be something to it.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy too, because that was one of the things John asked me yesterday. He's like, how much water do you drink? And I was like, well, I drink probably 4 bottles. And he's like, well, shoot, I don't know, probably like equivalent to like 3 bottles a day, realistically, thinking like
36 ounces.
You're like, I drink plenty of water. And then you're like, well, like, and then you're like, oh man, I don't drink hardly.
I drink like 20 ounces.
I don't drink hardly
this podcast.
Any water, So it's just really interesting, the things that you think you're doing versus what you're actually doing. There's such a disconnect. Yeah. But I'm really excited to kind of have, somebody keep me accountable. Oh, so the other things, we do the consultation. He's like, this is what you need to be doing. And I told him it's super strange because, like everyone always says that when you start working out, you're going to have more energy. But every time I work out, I just want to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like I tend to have quite a bit of energy already, but then after I work out, I'm like, I'm ready to take a nap by 3:00 in the afternoon. So I'm hoping that by working out in the afternoon, it'll make me maybe go to bed sooner, which would be interesting.
That's why I couldn't work out at night, is because like the times where I used to, it worked. I could work out at night when I didn't have kids. So when I'm trying to go to bed between 10 and 11:30, and I work out at 8:00 and I'm all geeked up at 9, like I need like 3 hours to come down off that. Like I can't work out, finish at 9, take a shower, hang out with the wife for a little bit, and be like, all right, let's go to bed. Like, an hour and a half later, I'm like,
I couldn't move. I came back to work last night. We were here pretty late. Travis, me, Ryan, we were here until probably like 9:00 last night, maybe 9:30. But like, and he went to CrossFit and came back. I went to the gym, came back. Travis was here the whole time. And like, I couldn't move my arms. I could barely carry my skateboard back in the door.
Oh, that's because you didn't walk back from the 13 steps from the gym.
No. I rode my skateboard. Yeah, but I had to carry it in the door. So, but I still can't. My arms are in this like stuck position. You've seen me all day trying to stretch them out.
Drink the water, man. Drink the water.
Man, it
helps with that
awful.
Lactic acid or whatever they call it. Try to throw out some medical terms like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. Pretend.
I've had a lot of awesome people. Okay, so hold on. I keep getting sidetracked. So they got the Fit 3D, like 3D body scanner there, and dude, it's crazy. It scans your entire body, 360 degrees, measures everything, and like I've got it all in my email, and it's crazy. I'll show it to you. It's kind of weird because it's like almost like I'm naked, but it's super super weird. But then you're still like, man, I'm pretty fat. But like you stand on this thing, it shows you where to put your feet. and you pick these things up and you hold these buttons and you stay perfectly still, and it's got these big camera things on it, and this thing spins 360 degrees. It just scans your entire body as it rotates, and then it gives you like this visual 3D scan of yourself, and you can spins around all stuff, but it measures your thighs, your biceps. It's got scales in it, and it shows you like your feet, your weight distribution on your toes, your heels, right foot, left foot, and like so your alignment of your head on your shoulders. Like my head is like to the left 2 inches or something. Like it's crazy. Your spine, like all this stuff.
Right.
I should take you over there to do it. It's crazy. It's really cool.
I'd be intrigued.
Yeah, it's
maybe
really,
not
really
after
cool.
that rabbit food lunch. I just feeling a little sluggish. I ate too much rabbit food.
Yeah, I had too much Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I didn't.
Anyways, but that was crazy. And it took a little while for like the machine to do its work, and then it's emailed me this report, and it's like all in there. But it like, again, it measures like your biceps, and it measures your thighs, and it measures your waist, and it measures all this stuff. And I was like, not what I expected at all. Really, really cool. But I can track it now. I can track stuff. I can track, I can go in there and do another scan in 30 days and see the progress I've made or whatever. And that's another thing that like, I've never really been bothered by like the scale or weight or any of that stuff, because I've got a bunch of my friends who are into bodybuilding who are kind of gain weight. They're like, oh, I need to gain another 20 pounds, but they have like, they're skinny and lean and all these things. And I don't know. The scale is like an indicator of things, but it's not like the one metric you should have to live by. And I've always just been like, nah.
I've always
like,
just had the number of like,
other,
I never want to go above this.
Right.
For like my height, I'm like, well, for me, so I'm what, barely 5'10".
Right. But if you were jacked like Doug, you'd be 200 pounds.
Yes, but to that end, I was like, my skeleton should not be supporting 200 pounds. So I need to just like that. My number is like in my life, I don't want to cross that threshold, and I've gotten up to like 187, like reached 190. It's like pull back, But anyways, besides that, again, like it's never been a scale issue for me. Yeah. Well, because I mean, I think people are so different. It's like you can just carry it, so many places. Like you could just carry it all in your stomach. So like everything else is proportionate, right, for your size or whatever else, and you just got a big beer belly or whatever. Yeah. So it's
really interesting. All of it. And I'm sure as I learn more about it and kind of get more into it, and so the working out that I'm doing at the gym is much more of a traditional, like almost like weightlifting type working out, and not like a CrossFit high intensity cross training, any of that sort of stuff that like I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy that at all.
You're not a fan of the kind of community workouts?
No.
You're not a group workouter?
No.
It took me a while to get used to it. Now I'm kind of I work out harder when I'm with a group. In the right environment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't know if that'd ring true if it was 5:30 with a group. I'd still be like, I'm still asleep.
Can I get a shot of espresso to my right arm, please?
So I don't know if that plays a role, because I rarely did the like group workouts in the morning, but I felt like it did motivate me once I got past kind of the thought process of like, all right, I'm still here for me. I'm still doing it for me. And if Tom next to me does a good job,
I did work out pretty hard. Like, so when I was doing CrossFit and I was with Shane from Fuel and those guys, and it was like, we had a lot of fun while we were doing it, and he's super competitive and I'm super competitive, and it made me work out harder because I was like, oh man, he's like 2 sets ahead of me. Like I need to catch up, or I could, knew that he was, I don't know, so many deep into something or picking up something heavier. And I knew I was like, oh, I can do that. I can beat him, but I think part of that is why I started to not enjoy it. Like I just leave my head pounding, splitting headaches. Like it was just too high intensity, like work out as much as you can for the next 40 minutes and try not to completely die, like leave there puking and like, it's not enjoyable. Right. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't for me. So then I started doing more personal training stuff. It was just me and Pete, and he was there waiting for me at 7 a.m., so that was good. And it was just me, but like, and it was less intense, but like going to the gym next door, which is like a more traditional gym, like I said, with like free weights and machines and things like that, where it's like, okay, do 15 of these, take a break for a minute, do another 15, take a few minutes, do another 15, okay, let's do something else. You did 3 sets of 15 on that. Let's do this. And like, I worked like most of my upper body yesterday without like dying, and I can barely move my arms today. So I know it worked, and I'm super happy to go back. I didn't feel like I couldn't function the rest of the night. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just a different style. It's more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just you got to find what
it's
works
a different
for
flavor,
you.
right?
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to it, and now I could work out in a group. I can work out by myself. Again, I struggle just being by myself, but
you struggle being by yourself.
Fair
Let's be honest, you hermit crab.
enough. There's a reason, I guess, I have the nickname I do. But in college, they always made fun of me. They're like, "Oh, Alex is in the Bat Cave."
The Bat Cave.
The Bat Cave. Like, oh, is Alex coming out the Bat Cave today?
So
no, I mean,
funny.
overall, I like people.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Alex didn't leave his house that's why I call him a hermit crab, the Bat Cave. Like,
Yeah, I don't mind social situations. People.
oh my
It didn't.
gosh.
I mean,
That was funny.
sometimes you
The
just need that
struggle being by
motivation.
myself.
Well, when
Working out,
working out,
because you
just-
don't have somebody to be accountable to, or
Yeah.
or it's not that group where it's like you got your buddy who you're competitive with and you want to do better. You're like, I get it,
Yeah,
I get it.
But there was a really good. So we did a lot of high intensity training. But when we got out of CrossFit, we kind of went to a gym that did a little bit more, but it was very accountable to like the movements and everything else, which is why I think I got away from it. It sounds like they've gotten a lot better, but I watched too many people like just injure
Get hurt.
themselves. So they're like, you like, what are you doing? Like,
Mhm.
I'm happy that you're motivated and you're
Yeah.
here, and I'm not
And I
here
know
to
some
judge.
people that are doing
But
great.
I'm like, you're probably just gonna hurt yourself because like you just can't pick up that much weight. You
Right.
can't be doing that deadlift in that high intensity of a span without hurting yourself if
Right.
you're not a like professional or been
right,
doing
you
it
gotta be
for a
very
while.
careful about that stuff.
And so we started going somewhere else that was much more
Were you doing some like kickboxing style stuff for a
yeah,
while?
they had some boxing in it and everything else, but that was a
pretty
way
cool.
to kind of compensate for you need to do the
So many other
pull-ups and
things.
other stuff.
Super
But
interesting, yeah.
it's
And I
been
don't
good.
want to knock. I got some friends that do CrossFit and coaches and people that own gyms and all that stuff. And like, they're doing great. They enjoy it. They're not hurting themselves. So more power to them. But in general, I think there's just like a lot of crazy stuff going on, and it's not for me. For
No,
sure.
I mean, you gotta exercising is good for everyone to do. Just to you gotta take care of yourself. You only get one body, you got one life. Like you gotta make time for your physical and your mental. Just to be, especially as it relates to like parenting. You know what I mean? If you're not there for your kids, how you gonna help raise them?
Right.
If you're not there mentally or physically. So, there's a lot of good to just take care of your body in that respects. But if you don't do it because you don't like it, then it's not going to benefit anyone anyway. So if you're the person that just wants to go for a 30-minute walk,
Right.
30 minutes walk while listening to our podcast is better than sitting on the couch for 30 minutes.
Right.
If you have that 30 minutes to go
sure.
do something.
For sure.
So you just got to go do something.
Yep. Well, I will keep you guys up to date with my progress as I go down this nice, fun little fitness journey. I have no idea where it's going to lead me.
Is it going to lead you to not as many Moe's trips, or you going to Moe's?
No, I'm
just as
still going to
much?
eat at Moe's. I'm still going to. Doug just posted something about like meal prep, Moe's meal prep. Like it's packaged like Moe's at home and like chicken meals and beef meals. Let me see. I'm not kidding. I'm going to find out if it's for real. I was going to pull it up on my phone here, but it'll take me a minute to dig for it. I'm looking into that. We're going to validate it because if I can get Moe's at home, like,
Oh my word!
that'd be amazing. So good.
So, do you think you're going to start eating rabbit food?
I can't say anything about it yet. I'm
We're
not sure.
here to hold you
I might
accountable.
be supplementing
We're here-
it. So John says maybe he'll get me to drink my greens. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I have a hard time with it.
Was it a color thing for you? Like I put like, so you were asking if I take something, like I do like a protein shake afterwards, just one of the like just a very clean protein
Mhm.
in it, and I put spinach in it just because you can't taste it, but you get the vegetables. Like, is it green for you that would bother you,
I
or
don't
is it if
know.
you tasted it?
I don't know. It's a taste thing.
But you don't like peanut butter.
I don't. I don't like peanut butter.
This was news to me.
Like yesterday.
It just blew my mind. Like what? Like I mean, short of someone who has a peanut, allergy, right? It's like having kids. Like if there's no one in the home or friends that don't have a peanut allergy, like you're making peanut butter and jelly, right? Like that's just.
I don't like it.
Your kids eat it?
Yeah.
You got a problem like making sandwiches with it?
No.
You just don't want to put it in your body.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Was
with
this a discovevery? Like when you were like in high school?
Dude,
you're like,
I don't know.
Like, F this peanut butter, or was it just like
been a picky eater? I started I started life as a picky eater, and then my mom catered to it, which I think really made it worse because she wasn't like hard on me and being like, well, this is all you get. This is what you're. I mean, she had her moments where she tried to do that, but otherwise she'd be like, well, I'll just make you something else, and it ruined me, which is why I don't do that crap for my kids. I'm like, no, that's what you're eating. You do. I don't want them to turn out like me. And I know it's all up here. Dude, I'm the worst. I know this. Anyways, I'll keep you guys up to date on my fitness and health and nutrition situation. You might start seeing me like shirtless on the podcast.
I hope not. I hope not for all of our sake. I hope not.
It would be blinding. The lights hitting me. It'd be so white. My ginger behind. Oh my goodness. So in other news, beyond fitness, we're firing up another segment, another video series, if you will. So we've been answering your questions on the podcast, which has been great, but there's a lot of questions we don't get to. So we used to do something years ago called Ask TBG, where we took the questions from you guys and then we answered them to the best of our ability. And sometimes it was just random questions like, what are the best kind of baby wipes? Let's find out. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that. So we're going to fire that back up. And on Instagram, we're going to start asking you guys to leave questions on the stories with the little question box, the same way that you've done for the podcast. And then on Twitter, if you can tweet at us as well and use the hashtag AskTBG, and we will get questions from you guys that way as well. So hopefully our goal here is to answer more of your questions because we were getting a lot of questions. We were only answering 3 to 5 of them on the podcast. We want to include you guys a little bit more. And I think we can have some more fun with it, get a little bit deeper into some of the questions or testing, different diapers or wipes.
If there's a diaper or a product that you guys are interested in, we can get our hands on it. We can kind of do our take on it, and maybe that'll be good advice for you all.
I think that'll be good information. I don't think it'll be fun information, et cetera, et cetera. So the Ask TBG show is going to make a comeback soon, so keep an eye out for that. What else is going on in the world of TBG besides Beav's fat?
Besides, we're trying to get you to eat some vegetables. Let's see. We're always working on some new products, so hopefully we'll have some stuff
excited
coming down the pipeline here.
I can't say too much about it, but yeah, man, the stuff we got coming and we've been working on, if it all works out.
But we got to make sure it's perfect.
And like
practical,
this has been in the works
useful
for probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
And like we've revisited it, and then it was like not quite what we wanted, and then we went back to the drawing board and we pushed it off because of the holidays and we were just busy with that. And then we kind of revisited it again, and now things are back in motion, and I'm super pumped. If everything is like playing out, oh man, you guys, there's going to be some really cool stuff coming.
Yes.
Hopefully fourth quarter, holiday
And we're always
time.
open to suggestions too. If there's some need that you need a company to fill.
Yeah.
We love feedback.
Yeah, for sure. So
That's
leave
why
in
we
the
do
comments. In the comments, if you have suggestions, we talked about the dog leash or like the kid leash thing once, but there was people that were like, "Yo, please do that."
Yeah.
And
which I mean,
it just seems like such a funny thing, but like we should do it.
It's kind of useful.
Yeah.
Because when you're done using it for your kid, maybe you get a dog.
Yeah.
And then the life of the product goes on, right?
Right. We could do leashes for twins like they have for dogs. They have like they split off into a Y. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'm excited about.
By the way,
stuff.
it is not a twin baby carrier because
no, it's not.
We're not going to do that.
We're not going to do a twin baby carrier, but this new kind of line of products going to have a totally different style, totally different look, and I think it's going to spawn off into a lot of other random things that kind of coincide with it. So we're super excited about that. super excited. It can't happen fast enough, really.
Yeah.
So we should. I think we'll have some updates here in the next few weeks on that. That maybe we can.
Yeah, we'll probably have a really good
give
update in maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Make sure we're on track for that. So yeah, stay tuned. We got that coming up.
It's kind of about it
Very
right
exciting.
now.
Yeah.
That's nothing else is new, really. Yeah. Cool. Well,
Just moving into summer, keeping kids safe, trying to entertain them. You know, all the summer fun, heat, bugs,
safe and
humidity, and kids
Water.
aren't in water. And kids aren't in school. So good luck to all the parents at home fighting the good summer fight. It's always a lot. It's always a lot of fun, but it's also it's
exhausting.
mentally exhausting. Like
I'm exhausted.
you don't want to wish away the summertime just because like you get to just do all family vacations and create the memories, and it's fun. But like we were talking earlier about like the Instagram versus reality. The photo of like what's something what a lot of people at least put on Instagram using that like social media. Let's say is like something so idyllic. I'm not the best with words. And then like what then what it looks like in reality, and it's like but because no one wants to share that like the family photo. It's like, oh, that is an amazing photo, and you put the one up there, and you're like, your family's so perfect and everything else, and it's like, well, it took 3 hours to get that one photo that they put on the scene. Behind the scenes, we had 4 kids break down at different times, and someone was pulling someone's hair. Like, I mean, but no one wants to talk about that. But like, that's life. So, anyways, I guess I say that as in like summer. Am I boring you?
No, I'm just.
Tired. That's right. You exercised.
I worked out yesterday, but like I'm just tired in general. Like I was on vacation last week, but my brother was here with his kids and their whole family.
Well, like I said, it's
10,
a lot of fun, a lot of memories.
There's 10 people at my house, and like I need a vacation after that. I'm tired.
Like a solo vacation.
I'm sure these guys have heard it in my voice the whole time. Like I'm just tired. I need like a couple of real days off for me. Tired.
Yeah, see, can you actually take a day off though? I struggle. I can't turn the brain off.
It takes me a day or two to get to a point where I can. Like, so if I took a vacation, let's say I took a 5-day vacation, the first 2 days I'd be stressed out trying to do work stuff, and by the 3rd day I'd finally be able to like relax, and then I'd spend another day relaxing, and then the last day I'd be like traveling back home and getting into it. So yeah, it's tough. I have a really hard time with like trying to take time off. I enjoy working. I'm passionate about it. I love the business and all the things that we do, and I want to do more of it. And but sometimes you just gotta like stop for a minute, reset. It's good. It's healthy. It's good for you.
It's like a good vegetable, right? Just
I don't know anything about it, so I can't confirm that theory.
Oh maybe on the next podcast.
It's a lot
maybe
like
on the next podcast
cookie.
We'll get Beav to eat his first salad in a decade.
That'd probably make a good video.
Beav's first salad in a decade, everyone. We're going to do it.
Probably more like 2 decades. Oh. All
and
right.
on that note, as we plan,
yeah,
I think we're going to do it. I'm going to make you a salad. And I'm going to make you eat it on the next. As we do the next one, you're going to have to chew in everyone's ear, but they'll all know that you're eating a salad for the first time in like 20 years.
God bless America.
We're going to do it.
Guys, thanks for listening. Make sure that you like this podcast wherever you're listening to it. Hit subscribe and leave a review if you wouldn't mind. I would appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next episode.